use watercolor for my art. I've heard of gouache and was intrigued, being curious about what I consider to be pseudo-watercolor. I decided to dive in by buying a set of Winsor & Newton's gouache set. The main reason that gouache fascinated me is that I heard that gouache allows for more precision in your paintings, whilst being able to use similar techniques as watercolor. Perhaps this is the medium that will become my new favorite. My escape from watercolor's lack of precision and endless layering. We are about to find out. Hi everyone, this is Koelsi, and I've decided to try gouache first time in my life. From a brief search on Google and looking through YouTube, this revealed that gouache can be used like watercolor, except that it's more opaque. A consequence of this is that the gouache gives a more matte finish. The white gouache can be layered on top, whilst in watercolor you would normally use masking fluid for the whites. Adding the colors dark to light is now possible as well, which is exciting. Of course, we can use the usual watercolor method of coloring light to dark. I found out that there are different variants after researching more into gouache. I have the designer's gouache, which can be put into pans and be reactivated. These are the traditional type of gouache, but acrylic gouaches are closer to acrylic paints, and for those you need to squeeze the amount that you want to use each time before use, and they cannot be reactivated once dry. So after a quick lookup of what we're dealing with, I think that the best place to start with these medium is to try basic techniques and exercises to help get used to it. At first, I just tried testing how the colors appeared on paper, as well as how they dried. I also experimented a bit with the amount of water needed. I quickly realized that I was thinking too much like a watercolorist in my painting techniques. When I tried to add the usual amount of water I work with, the paint dried to appear grainy or very uneven. Gouache appears to work best when you use the least amount of water as possible. Hence, I found out that 200 GSM paper appears to be enough since we use less water, meaning that the paper is less likely to buckle. One thing I really liked was the clean edges achievable and the fast drying time. Although you still have to wait a bit for the paint to dry, it's nowhere near the length of time needed, despite using hot pressed paper for my case. I think hot pressed paper was the right choice as the smoother texture allowed for more detailed paintings suited for gouache, as well as the fact that the water wasn't as absorbed too quickly. I will note that there was a bit of balancing technique between the amount of water and the precise edge that you wanted to get out of it. So it took a bit of getting used to on the amount of water, and I noticed that blending the colors together didn't give you a flowing look as watercolor. So it depends on what kind of look you're trying to achieve. And after the initial experimentations with varying different amounts of water and just seeing how the paint reacted when mixing, I decided to go for proper painting. The last thing I would like to note is that although this gouache can be reactivated from the pan, I ended up squeezing some fresh paint out for certain textures. For that very acrylic look, I think there is no substitute to using paint straight out from the tube, because when I try to reactivate it, you get the color but the thick consistency is lost. I will probably keep using the gouache in the pans for the convenience, but for the people who like that thicker painted look, then it may be beneficial to look into acrylic gouache, and you can use the disposable palette for each use. Overall, I definitely enjoyed using gouache, and I can imagine the kinds of painting that would be more suited to this medium. There will be more gouache painting videos, so if you would be interested, don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thank you.